Hey everybody, welcome to the all JuveCast for episode 89 here, and it is a beautiful Sunday, my friends. A beautiful Sunday coming off the 2-1 2-0. I called 2-1. We got 2-0. We even got the clean sheet against Merda. I love it. I love it. And
Perfect Sunday.
after we all needed beach towels to wipe off all the tears that they were flooding the planet with, these Merdista
Yeah.
here, flooding us with tears about, oh, we got to reschedule. Do you guys really want us in May? Did you really want us in May? Come
Especially
on.
since he's a bottler,
So
So
we got him. We got him in our house, empty stadium. It doesn't matter because we got the vocal cords of Gigi Buffon, and I could hear him loud and clear. Yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful Sunday, we dealt with the pretenders. Here to recap it with me on very short notice and much, much appreciated, my friend Louis. Louis, how are you doing, man?
doing good, everyone. It's a beautiful Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
We beat Inter Milan. I can't remember the last time Inter Milan has beat us in the game. It feels good.
Oh,
I talked shit to Inter people all week, like all last week, and I feel good.
yeah, it's always just a treat to hand them the big L there. And the only thing, we got obviously the mess with the coronavirus going around there, and Italy's kind of just a gong show, and nobody knew what was happening. Who are we playing? It was, everything was up in the air. And then all of a sudden it was just like, boom, they're going to play. It's going to be behind closed doors. And it's going to be the Derby d'Italia. And it's like, okay, let's go. And, even leading up to this, though, all of a sudden it was like, this game might not happen. And it's like, what? And the matches this morning, I guess, got postponed. And it was like a half hour where apparently the players might go on strike. Obviously, Tomasini was saying that. And then what ended up coming of it, the players took to the pitch. The games were all a go, but there's going to be a meeting either Tuesday or Thursday. I heard both days. I think it's locked in on Thursday that there would be a big meeting to discuss a possible suspension indefinitely of Serie A. And it'll be interesting if it becomes one of these no titles distributed or first place at the time that ends up taking it. But we'll kind of see what ends up happening there. That'll be interesting. But yeah, this one could have went either way with all the delays and build up to it and everything. And
Gonna get it.
what's that?
I almost thought we were never gonna see it.
Oh, I know. It's been...
They were like, first we're playing Bologna, then we're doing this, and there was the Coppa Italia that didn't happen. It was like...
Yeah, will we ever play again this season with everything that's going on? And I mean, when you look at it, I understand it. Some people think it's because of, they're downplaying the severity of the coronavirus based on the deaths and the age groups that it's actually affecting. I don't think it's so much the actual virus itself. I think it's the ability for that country to facilitate all the people that are getting affected. So that's kind of more what it's about, and they're just trying to slow it down so that they can deal with the ones affected, which makes perfect sense. But anyways, yeah, we end up with a match that's behind closed doors, and leading up to this, I find myself so bored. It's been a long time since Juve's played when I'm like picking up the guitar and changing the lyrics to Sono l'Italiano by Toto Cotugno and making it Sono Juventino. You're bored and you need you to start playing when that kind of stuff starts happening. But I started asking people some cool questions, and before we get into this breakdown, I just wanted to ask you one, because we know your story, how you became a Juventino, because you're no stranger to the podcast. But if you could go back in time and bring a player from the past and place him into this squad, who would it be for you, and why would you suggest that we require his abilities?
So I almost went all the way back, but I'm going to stick with players that I've seen in my lifetime as a Juventus fan. And the one player I'd bring back is Claudio Marchisio. And I'll give you what, because he can play any position in the midfield. So, like he could do the worker at weight. He could play where Pjanic plays, or he could play where Ramsey is right now in the number 8. Like, just that ability to have him and move him around and be like, okay, we need you in the Pirlo position, we need you here, we need you on the left, we need you on the right, and he can do it, would just be so nice.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the player I'd bring back. And, he's a legend. He's great for the locker room. Help us score goals.
I like that pick a lot. I'm never going to go wrong mentioning Claudio, and who is also, I got to say, because while this huge delay has taken place, we launched a Striped Hearts project, and Claudio Marchisio, one of the designs featured on the first 3 tees that are dropped. So a lot of people have reached out so far. It's going to be limited quantities, so don't wait. Jump on those. There's more designs coming, and we're all going to have a say in it and vote on our favorite moments and stars that get captured on these things. So it's a sweet project. I'm excited about. Hope you all are too. But make sure to follow striped_hearts on Twitter there and on Instagram, and get in on those tees. They're going quickly. But
I can promise you guys, there is no better T-shirt company when it comes to Juventus than Striped Hearts. Seeing the designs, if you don't follow already, you're missing out.
Oh yeah, it's just gonna get better. The more collaboration, the more inclusivity, just like the podcast, it's just gonna grow into one of these beautiful, beautiful things. Now let's get to the match. We talked about the empty stadium. So leading up to it, I was thinking, this could go either way. There's been a huge delay since the last time we played. I think it was like the 26th of February against Lyon. It's the last actual match. So quite a delay. You had all the off-the-field BS, Merda's president and all the nonsense he's spitting out, and it's going back and forth, and they want to take advantage of us having to play with no fans in there to essentially wipe out that home field advantage. It could have really gone either way. I mean, we're in a pretty poor run of form, so taking away that the fans, it's like, you don't really know what to expect, what Juve is going to come out. But you could hope, that time was used wisely by Sarri and continue to build, right? And then we get our starting lineup, and it gave me some hope. It actually gave me some hope.
On the midfield, yeah.
It gave me hope because he had the balls to sit Pjanic.
Yeah. For all the people that we've had this discussion. It's come up on the show. It comes up on Twitter. Sarri has been frustrating, but you gotta give him credit. The guy has balls. He dropped Pjanic and Dybala for a huge match.
That was the thing. The Dybala, I would have started. That was my one kind of, bugaboo about the lineup is, for me, Dybala's got to be in there from the get-go. And it's not a knock on Higuain, but I think Higuain's pretty effective on his own right when he comes off the bench. And honestly, Costa is too. That's the thing. When we want to talk about, Dybala's better coming off the bench or whatnot. Well, to be honest, when we're dealing with tired legs, I would hold all 3 of those guys to the caliber to be able to take advantage. Dybala, Higuain, and Costa.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's just...
I was thinking the logic behind, dropping Dybala. There's 2 things. Number one, Sarri, for whatever reason, just does not like the HDR front 3. Yeah. Anytime, he'll use it for a couple games. He'll use it in the pinch. We saw it for 10 minutes today. But, he just immediately runs away from it. And, so for whatever reason, he doesn't like it. The other thing is, too, Conte is a very planned-out coach. Sarri's coached against him many years. Maybe he figured if I take Dybala and I put him on the bench and throw Douglas Costa in, who hasn't been fit in a month, a little bit of a wild card, and it's now in the latter stages of the game, you can't really plan for a Paulo Dybala to come off the bench. It's just so maybe I'm giving you too much credit, but on a day like tonight,
hindsight's 20/20, but going into it, it's just Dybala's has been our best. Ronaldo's got the stats on the goals and whatnot, but Dybala's been our best in my opinion. I would agree. He's unreal. But everything else, I was fine with. Cuadrado's back at right back, Sandro at left back, No real options there. So, Bonucci, De Ligt in the middle. You could argue, a different center back pairing, but honestly, I would have been happy with any combination of Chiellini, Bonucci, Chiellini, De Ligt, or Bonucci, De Ligt. Like, I'm fine with all of them. I personally, my thought going into it before was Chiellini's back. We've got a team that's on a poor run of form. He's kind of got that. He's kind of our heart and soul. Like in a match like this, you want him to bring out, that emotion and that drive to take it to these guys, our rivals. So that was kind of why I was leaning towards him and maybe De Ligt as the partnership. But we'll get to the performances here later on because it worked out fantastically. Like.
Thinking me wanted to see Chiellini and Bonucci just for old time's sake.
Yeah, and then up top, obviously Ronaldo, Higuain, and then Douglas Costa. Let's get to the match here. It didn't really take that long into it, and De Ligt getting to a corner and forcing a good save out of Handanovic there. Nobody could capitalize on the other thing. Cuadrado with a great follow-up off that save. It just pings this ball cross field, and then all of a sudden we're putting another wave of pressure on him. And I was like, oh, this is the start I like. That's what I like to see. Like, way more direct. Like, let's go. Spraying the ball around. 15 minutes in, Matuidi with a nice hit off the feed from Ronaldo. Didn't think Ronaldo was going to lay that one off. Didn't think Matuidi was going to rifle it. Unfortunately, the rebound just out of Higuain was there, and I think there was another player that just couldn't get to it. And then 20th minute, De Ligt gets to another one, another corner, just couldn't get it on goal. And I'm like, my God, are we all of a sudden just beasts in the air? Like, what's going on? Like, we haven't looked dangerous on a set piece in how long, and now all of a sudden we're getting to all these.
It was nice to have someone who can actually whip into a ball into the box on a set piece for once.
Oh, yeah. So it was good, right? That first 20 minutes, it was just like, okay, we've got possession. We're making things happen. We look good on corner kicks. And then all of a sudden, a little bit of a wave from Merda there. A big save by Szczesny on a nice shot from Brozovic there. And Merda getting a decent run against us. And then it kind of opens up where it goes a little back and forth, but not really great chances for either side. Yeah. In about the 37th minute, Bonucci, again on a cross from the corner. He is free and clear, and he just goes miles above everyone. He just seems to be a little ahead of the ball, and it goes skywards. But we're looking good, but again, just need a little more sting, a little more bite in the final third. But, that's pretty much it for halftime. It was almost like that first half felt a little bit like a glorified training session. It had a weird feel. Obviously,
There's some rust, some other things.
Yeah, it's been a while since both teams played. There's a lot riding on this, obviously. A very pivotal match in Serie A. It just felt like both teams kind of feeling each other out. Juve, that final third for me, just lacking a bit of movement off the ball. Yeah. Again, it just seemed like it was
the problem all year.
Yeah, just far too much possession based, but it wasn't a bad half by any means. And I felt like I still felt we were the better team. And again, we just need that. There's just that something missing in the final third there. But everything else, I loved. Bonucci and De Ligt right out of the gate. I mean, was Lukaku on the pitch? Even Lautaro.
Don't remember him at all.
Yeah, they just like De Ligt and Bonucci. Throw them in there with the wallet and keys because they were pocketed. Like
they were neither of them put the wrong foot in all game.
Oh yeah, it was unreal. So yeah, and I mean we looked dangerous on the corners and set piece. So you just hope that if we can continue that, dominating the possession and going at them, we start getting some more set pieces. And I thought we'd probably find one that way in this one, the way it looked in the first half, and it looked like one is all it would take. really. Anything else so far in the first half that you kind of want to touch on, or any thoughts or feelings?
Yeah, well, like you said, I mean, the big thing for the first half for me was it was really apparent, and they corrected it in the second half, thankfully, but something that has gone all year is just the lack of runs that midfielders make into the box.
Yeah.
Which is why I think you see Matuidi play so much, because he actually makes runs into the box, which is crazy because Matuidi's not our best technical player going forward.
Yeah.
Ramsey in the second half, we'll get to it, but he, started to do it more. So I think going forward, if they can just get those, like the Matuidi position and the number 8 to get into the box and, whip a cross into Ronaldo. Like the first half just didn't have a lot of crosses. It didn't have a lot of movement. It just the box was just very static. But the plus side of that was that when Juve defended, within like 5 seconds they were in the opposing team's box. And they stayed there. And they stayed in Inter's side of the field for 15, 20 minutes at a time. And when they broke, I mean, it was good. So that was, it was a little classic Juventus right there.
Yeah. So we get to the second half. And, geez, it doesn't really take that long. 53rd minute. We get a little bit of pressure. And the balls work between Ronaldo and Higuain. Higuain starts running left side of the box, takes a shot, it gets blocked. Merda goes for the clearance, it gets stopped. Sandro, it looked like he bobbled the ball, I think he did, and it made its way behind the defender. Higuain finds Matuidi. Sandro slides out wide, where he should have been in the first place. Matuidi slips it to him, and then Matuidi goes on the run. The penetrating run. Sandro plays this ball, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to get to it. He's going to get to it. He crosses it in, and it doesn't go down our own throats. Okay, Matuidi crosses it in low and hard. Beautiful, just how you want it. Ronaldo gets there right at the same time as Bastoni. The ball's rolling, and who comes in? Rambo. Comes in, hammers it. We're up 1-0. I'm losing my mind. I'm screaming. I'm yelling. I was laying on the couch, relaxing, watching this game. Had my dog and my cat next to me, and I freak out. The cat jumps, and the dog's barking. He's running all over the place. They'll get over it. I don't care. 1-0 Juve. Let's go.
I jumped off the couch, fist pumped and everything. I was yelling with the little bit of a voice that I had left.
Man.
After a long weekend. It was just not only just to get a goal, to have Juventus back after so long away, to get a goal in a game where we've been playing well. And Aaron Ramsey, credit to Aaron Ramsey. Beginning of the year, he struggled to find himself. He didn't do very well in number 10. And since he's moved to Mazzala, man, he was a monster tonight.
Dude, he is. Yeah, that's where he should have been from the get. And I say, it's a shame we spent so much time at Trequartista, but I love it. It's working. It's working. Beautiful. 1-0 Juve. I'm like, all right, don't step off the throttle. Go. And what did we see after this goal? We had a little pep in our step. All of a sudden it was like, okay, now we're going. And then the ball movement became even better, even quicker. And all of a sudden, that movement off the ball, it was there. Everybody started moving and showing themselves. And now all of a sudden, the player with the ball had options. It was beautiful.
But the first change immediately after we scored the goal, like a minute after, Sarri goes, all right, here's the ball, take Costa off, throws Dybala right in, which was nice to see, because that means, okay, we're going to go get 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, 58th minute, Costa subbed in Dybala. And then, we continued on that. We had good jump after that goal. 62nd minute, ball comes out wide to Ronaldo. He beats his man, rips one wide, but I like that. I like that we're kind of just pinning him back and putting pressure. That back line's dropping further and further back. I love it. 67th minute. And we play the ball out of the back. They're kind of pressing us. Szczesny puts it out to Sandro. Sandro's got 2 players pressing him. He goes over the top. Higuain's running towards the ball, but then he backs off. Merda's player tries to head it past him. Higuain stops it, saves it. It goes to Matuidi. Matuidi plays it up. Ronaldo back pass to Bentancur. Bentancur, oh my God, beautiful. That's what that deep line playmaker needs to do. He sprays a beauty to Dybala, who's
never seen Pjanic do that one time.
man, he's playing right against the back line. Bentancur pings it to him. Dybala stops it on a dime. Yeah. Ashley Young's going for a hot dog. And Dybala runs in. Okay, now all of a sudden he's got a defender coming in tight. Plays it to Ramsey. Ramsey gives it back to Dybala. Dybala schools Ashley Young twice on the same sequence. And then outside of the boot, in. 2-0, Dybala running to the team. And the whole team jumping out, embracing him. And then Buffon makes sure to kiss that magnificent bastard on the cheek, because that was pure class. I could watch that until the end of time. Beautiful.
I've watched it at least 25 times since the game happened today. Like,
holy Christ, that is what I'm talking about. Beautiful goal. Like, everybody involved and just making the right play, making the right pass, and it was just everything. The timing of it was just perfect. Beautiful. 2-0 up. I'm jacked. My pets are freaking out. I don't care. I love it. I love it.
I'm running around my living room doing the Dybala mask, like yelling. There's a great thing. God. I don't think it popped up on Twitter, but after the goal happened, a couple minutes went by, and they were showing like slow-mo replays. And if you look like over the corner of Dybala's shoulder after he takes the shot, you just see Sarri in the background go this. Like Barzali's right behind him, raging. Like, it was cool because like those are like stoic figures, right? Like, you know, they're just
like, it's just beautiful. Everything about it was beautiful. Yeah, there was the picture of Dybala as he's running to the bench, and you see Sarri just yelling, and I'm just like, there you go. Like, there you go. You know, get in there, get that feeling. Like, I would have just like, man, love for Sarri to jump in there and be part of that. So like, just like, let's go. But that was beautiful goal. One thing I wanted to touch on too on the first goal that I didn't, but the guy's an absolute prick, Skriniar. And I love the fact that he stopped and allowed that cross from Matuidi to go. Yeah. Instead of playing it out or trying to block it, he literally got out of the way, went like this, and let it go through. And I just like, couldn't happen to a better guy. Okay, the guy's singing. He wants to sing songs on videos, trying to, egg on Juve for their champions. Buddy, you've won nothing. I think you've won like a U18 tournament in your whole career. You're a toilet, and you're at the perfect club for you. Get over yourself.
I tweeted this out after the match, but after the first time we beat Inter, Dybala, went to the post press and he goes, "Hey, there's so much for the Inter Milan talk." He goes, "You need to put some respect on the name. Remember who's won 8 in a row."
Put some respect on the name. I like it. Dybala, my God, my boy.
That's the stuff legends are made of.
Lock him up, Juve. Yeah. The hell are you waiting for? Jesus. Okay. All right. Let's get back to this match. 76th minute. I'm jacked up. 76th minute. De Sciglio comes on.
Oh, God.
77th minute, his first touch, he gives away a scoring opportunity. And it's like not a surprise to anybody. Yeah. It is what it is. You know what? With De Sciglio, like, when it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, it's awful. Like, it's holy Christ. Anyways, we survived it. But all in all, the second half, like, it was just a great turnaround. It was like somebody just hit a switch. And these guys were on, every single one of them. Matuidi was an absolute beast in this match. Bentancur, incredible. Like, he is miles ahead in that role. Okay, and he's got to be there. Ramsey, fantastic. Like I said, Alexandro, for me, he could be just a little bit more lethal in the final third, but defensively he's sound, and there's no backup there. Like, he's got to be our guy, right? He got subbed. Obviously, he was getting some cramps there, so that's why De Sciglio ends up coming on. But I mean, we comfortably see this one out with Ronaldo coming so close to breaking the record twice at the death. And I was just like, oh my God, he just like, he's just. He's just so kicking himself. Again. Especially that last one on his left foot. I thought for sure, there it is. Like, there it is. but both just go wide. So he ends up tied with Quagliarella and Batistuta, which is great company. And it's still an insane tally.
He's 35 years old to do that.
On a team that's totally in transition, that hasn't been fluid for, you know what I mean? Like, and he's still just doing it. So, credit to him. The guy's a freak. But yeah, this second half, incredible. The switch got flipped. Everybody stepped it up a bit and was just a little more dialed in. You could feel it in the second half. And, for a match that was played behind closed doors, I mean, listening to those players on the back, and I'm not even kidding. I could pick out Buffon. Like I could hear the guy
through the television over the commentaries and everything.
It was cool, and I think like to picture. Pinsolio's right next to him, and the two of them. But you could hear the chirping on fouls, and I could picture the hand just, hey, I love it. It was cool. It was interesting, right? And I always I wonder, when you're playing this type of match, if it helps a team, especially a team that's transitioning like Juve, because some of the stuff he said is these guys are doing so well in training, and then all of a sudden you hit out here. So I wonder if just being able to hear that communication helped everybody just a little bit more, right? I don't know what it was, but that second half was we haven't seen that Juve probably since the first time we played Merda this season, really. Yeah.
Well, I think number one, it comes to the occasion, the talk around, the time off. They get a little bit of a mental break. They've had 10 days off. They've reset. They get a full squad, which is so nice to have for once. We're missing one person, that's Demiral, which is sad. But you have most of your squad now. You can be Sarri's changes in the second half. He brought on Dybala, and then he brought on Bernardeschi late in the second half.
Yeah.
He wanted 3-4 goals, So the hunger, the desire was there, which was nice. It's been lacking a lot this season. Also, with the fans, though, playing behind empty stadiums, we know that the Juventus fans, have wanted, 3-4, we should be killing teams. They've been very critical, and deservingly so a lot of the time, and they really want the Champions League. So I think to not have the fans there and just be okay, the pressure just dims a little bit, and it's we're just going to get out there.
Yeah.
Sorry, made some gutsy changes, and it's I'm going to die by the sword, or we're going to go out there and pull off a masterclass. Yeah. And that's what they did.
Yeah. And with Pjanic sitting, that was just it had to happen. It absolutely had to happen. And I've said it for a while now. I'm just we will live and die by this Pjanic in the middle thing. It was killing us. And it's just it's time to go away from it. It has to. If anything, this could go two ways for Pjanic. And we're going to get to a list of comments and questions and opinions about this particular match right now. And we'll get into some of them. And one of them is Pjanic, and, what do you do with him? Where do you go from now with Pjanic? And for me, it's honestly, you got to use him because you got to give some guys rest. Right? Yeah. So, when he is in there, though, probably as one of the Metsalas, to be honest. Otherwise, if we just go back there, you're just going to stunt the growth from happening, right? We can't kill it again. You got to go with what works, and it's not working with him in that spot. So, try him as Metsala. If that doesn't work either, then I'm sorry, maybe he's at the back of the bus. And if anything, losing his spot while he's healthy in the Derby d'Italia should be a huge eye-opener. Yeah. And if that guy is worth, anything, that will be enough to spark him back into being an effective player. And if it doesn't, then that's it, man. But I honestly think one way or another, regardless, he needs to go. I
think the writing on the wall is there for him. There was a rumor last summer before they tried to do that stupid Lukaku-Dybala swap, which looks so bad, by the way, that they were going to sell him to PSG for 80 million. And they were just nah, we got to keep him too valuable. So the rumors have been there,
Yeah.
Like you see Bentancur play there, you see how well the ball moves. And like
Yeah.
you saw like the directors during this game, like like Pavel usually sits there and he looks miserable. Like they were like, okay, like this is what we.
Yeah.
That's got to be a sign that says, hey, he's 30, 31. I know he's over 30, so like, or at least 30. Like it seems like this is a good time to transition. Like
It can't.
it's not, but like
it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that some of our most fluid ball has been while he's on the bench or not taking part in the match. Bentancur's got that approach. He's just got that direct approach. He is constantly looking to progress up, like us up the field, move us up the pitch.
He's such a smart player, Bentancur. There was a great moment after we scored the second goal where Sandro played him a ball that was really weak, and he had the ball between Lautaro and Lukaku. And instead of turning, trying to dribble out of it, or making like a crazy sideways pass that Pjanic would make, he just takes one simple touch back to Bonucci, who clears it down the pitch. Yeah. And it was just like he's just a very smart player. Like it's in and out of his feet real quick. 1-2 touches at the most.
Yeah, he's it's just. Man.
And defensively, he's very good too. So
he's got the legs. Like that's the thing that Pjanic he does not have the legs. And this is one of the things that even like playing him as a Mezzala, it's like, that's how he came to us for. But if you focused on one of them being a little more offensive, which is kind of how we do it, to be honest. But if you focused on one being a little more offensive, he might get away with it there. But defensively, Pjanic is just not strong, and he's losing the legs. He just does not have the legs.
And he just like the game is such a rhythm sport, and he doesn't look like he's in rhythm, and it just and he plays every match. So it's not like it's like an Higuain or a Costa thing or a Dybala thing where it's like they've been benched 3 games in a row and they have to find it. Like Pjanic plays almost every match, so like it just whatever the disconnect is, I think it's the writing on the wall for him.
Yeah, well, I agree. So let's get to Luca. His comments. He's got some questions. Pjanic, is he gone in the summer? I think yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If PSG, Barcelona, or Manchester United give you at least 60, 70 million for him, you should take that.
Yeah. Now we get to something that's been brought up by a lot of the fans, and a lot of them are commenting on this as well. And Luca asks, Dybala or Gonzalo as a starter? I said, obviously, when we went through the starting lines, like just Dybala is in form. He is playing incredible ball. No disrespect to Gonzalo by any means, but I think Gonzalo is even effective as a sub for us. I think Dybala is effective as a sub for us. I think Higuain is, and I think Costa is. Honestly, for me, the expectation is out of all 3 of them, any one of those 3 that comes off the bench on tired legs on a defense should be able to make stuff happen. But for me, the bigger danger right out of the gate to opposition would be having Dybala in there because of how much more he gives us as far as creation and distribution. And just this season, everything I've seen, I think he needs to be rewarded with that starting role. Yeah. But that's my opinion. I want to hear yours, Louis.
I agree. I saw a stat this week that said that Juventus, in games that Paulo Dybala has started or played in, they've won like 19 out of 20. And then their goals go from like 1.6 a game to like 2.5 a game. Yeah. Which, after Ronaldo, who, has scored almost like 40 goals this year, he's accounted at least for 40 goals. Dybala's accounted for like 35 of the other ones. It's insane. My big thing is that I understand why both can't play, like all 3 can't play together. I know they've tried it. I think now if you have Bentancur in the midfield, you have Ramsey, who also works very hard. Tweedy's a defensive player. Now you can put all 3 on the pitch, because now you can get Higuain will come back and he'll come deeper, which means he won't get close to goal, but his movement off the ball, on the ball, the hold-up play is good enough where you still get the best of both players. And Dybala is starting to settle into that out-wide role a little bit better. Yeah. So I like to see that, because Costa, he's never giving you 90 minutes. So take the 20 minutes, you get him off the bench, explode. But Dybala should start.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a no-brainer.
So Luca continues on. Ramsey versus Rabiot. Who belongs more? I don't think, honestly, for me, Rabiot is fine on the left, as a replacement for Matuidi or even starting above Matuidi. But I think Rabiot and Bentancur should be, like, I'm surprised we haven't seen Rabiot play in that deep line role ahead of the defense, because he's got characteristics that would suit that well. And I think he's better suited to it than Metsala and getting up into the final third. He seems to get a little too far, and is usually, we just create a lot of dead ends when he's playing out on the side there. I don't know, but who fits in more? Obviously right now, Ramsey's given us something we haven't had out of that position for quite some time.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's got to be Aaron Ramsey. Rabiot, my big issue with him is I just don't know what he's good at. He doesn't win the ball. He doesn't make runs into the box. He's got a good touch, I guess. His movement off the ball is all right.
His touch is good. He actually wins. He wins the ball quite a bit. Like, he's a big physical guy. Like, he's good defensively. That's why I just think, like, if we had to give Bentancur, I just don't want to see Pjanic back in that role again, because it's just going to stunt any kind of development. I'm surprised we haven't seen Rabiot at least in there. And again, it's just we were almost ready to die on this hill for Pjanic, and. Now we're at the point where we can't really do it. So Rabiot's going to be, shifting on that left side Metsala role. And the thing is, if Matuidi has games like he did today, Rabiot's going to find himself not getting any time. Because if Matuidi can play like that consistently, nobody's going to take that spot from him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Luca, his last question, Merda, what's next for him? It sounds like AC Milan, to be honest. They're kind of hot and heavy for it. And honestly, I mean, if we can't find a position for him, and it's just, we're trying to fit him out in all these different areas, it's just time to, like, cut it off, send him away. And it didn't work out. Hope it works out somewhere else. Like, I mean, I think we got to move on.
This is year 3 for Bernardeschi. His numbers they're not good. They weren't. He had a good year towards the end of last year, I guess, but I think it's time to move on. With financial fair play and stuff, if AC Milan's going to give you 30, 40 million for him, like, just take it. Yeah. Why sell a bigger player like a Dybala potentially for 100 million than Bernardeschi for 40? Like, just take it. Like,
I agree. It's time to move on. Let's see here. What do we have for some comments? TLM says, keep the footage. Same players, same formation until they lose a game, in my opinion. Love the way everyone played, and putting Dybala on after we scored was great. Good to see Sarri wanting another goal, and his reaction after how Dybala scored was priceless. Yep, I fully agree.
This one, as good as the individual performances are, I tip my hat to Sarri in this, because I've been very critical of him at times. He's really pissed me off. But, he kind of, like, a little bit lately, he's starting to be more, hey, I'm going to die on my own sword. And, like, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down my way. And it's like, all right, well, let's see it. Yeah.
I was surprised to see Pjanic not on that list, but props to Sarri. That's huge, especially in a game of this magnitude, to actually just be like, you know what, Bentancur is going to be in there. I loved it. Iskander Uvishaw says, what is the matter, actually? Are we that bad, or can we actually play as what we did against Merda? So essentially his question just, what's been the issue thus far? Like, and then you see a match like what we did against Merda, and honestly, I think it's just personnel, and now he's finding the guys and where they need to be. It just took him too long. It took a little longer than we anticipated, right?
I was thinking, he said at the beginning of the year that he tries to find his best 14 to 15 people, and those are like the ones he had. And then like a month ago, he said, I don't know that, which took him a while. But in his defense, I don't like to do this, but in his defense, the end of Chelsea, he seemed to figure it out right before he got the sack.
Yeah.
So maybe with some run of games, like, let's see some continuity with this lineup.
Yeah. Graham says, I only want to know one thing. Where has that Juventus been hiding all this time? Massive improvement from previous performances. And I actually responded to him and I said, I said it on the last podcast and with Rocco, and I said, Rocco, I've got a dream. I've got this thought that's come through my mind. And I said, before the huge lull in the winter and all this, just this poor run now, I said we were kind of like up and down, hit and miss. There was no progress, but at the start we were really progressing, and we had probably our best match against Merda. That was probably arguably our last best match. And I said, how fitting if we get back into that form against those bastards, win it, and then all of a sudden hit our stride here on the way out. I go, I have a dream, and what if it comes true? I love it, but it's.
You would hope that if it's going to, this is the time.
This is all we can do, is we can hope for the best, but hope that Sarri starts to figure out. It looks like he has, and you know what? He's gotta. The biggest thing now is the follow up. Yeah.
Stick with it. Stick with the lineup. Stick with the changes you made.
Stick with it, but push the mentality, push the approach. Treat every opponent as if it's Merda. Get that approach down. Don't start playing down on your next game because it's a lower opponent. You know? That's the biggest thing that's going to be, is just that, kill that complacency. Because Juve, we won't struggle to get up for a match against a tough opponent. And maybe against Lyon, we just walked in there with a little too much swag, and just a little bit too much like our shit don't stink, and thinking that we were going to run amok in their house, right? So we just got to really, really stick to our guns, get that intensity up, and go that way. Maybe, a blessing in disguise that we could hear Buffon screaming insanity on the sideline, and maybe the players felt him more than they do, 40,000 people or whatnot. Who knows? But
I have to shout the Graham, because when I made my prediction this morning, I predicted 3-1. And he commented on my tweet and goes, "Hey, why are you feeling so confident?" He goes, "I just have a bad feeling." I was like, I woke up this morning and was like, I get a good feeling about Juve today. I don't know why. There's no reason for it. I woke up and I was like, I feel like we're gonna kill him.
Well, when you posted your prediction to me, I replied and I said, I think it's gonna be a grind, man, just a grind. But I think we'll edge them out because, as much as they like the advantage of us not having fans in there or whatnot, the pressure still is on them. They fall down in the race quite a bit now.
They're done.
And that's the thing, right? So the pressure was on them, and it's time to, essentially shit or get off the pot. You're either contenders or you're pretenders. So the pressure was still on them, and man, we dealt with it fantastically. It was great. I called 2-1, you called 3-1. I wasn't going to go for the clean sheet because when I do that, we don't get it. So you see what I did there? You're welcome, Juventini.
I liked it. I like it.
So James Martino, this is our best midfield three. On paper, it doesn't look like it, but they're the most compatible. Pipita had a great game. Him in the middle brings a different skill set versus Dybala. His hold-up play allows more creativity for the midfield. Dybala goal started from him. Yeah, Dybala, they play differently, but I mean, when Dybala is allowed to stay up high, it's a whole nother issue for defenses. It's tough when our last taste was Lyon and he had to come so far back. We all saw the video, Ronaldo and Dybala talking about the midfielders, and you got a lot of people jumping on that video and stuff, but that's a normal discussion for teammates to have. That happens all the time amongst teams, and you talk whatever, but if a lot of those videos didn't even show the first half, which was actually Ronaldo talking to individuals prior and say, Quadrado, you need to go directly towards goal more. Pjanic, faster. And, so these kinds of things, it's fine. Didn't take a whole lot into that video. And honestly, he didn't say anything none of us don't already know.
Yeah. Like if Sarri's not saying that in the locker room, then something's wrong, right? So
Exactly, and that
yeah,
was my point. That was my point. I said I'm more concerned with what our coach is
yeah,
actually saying to the players. I hope he's reiterating the same things
yeah,
because God damn it, if everybody's telling Pjanic to go faster and he still moves like molasses out there, get him the hell out of there. It's just not working.
yeah.
So yeah, props to them for getting that handled. Just Juve. Giuseppe Bonanni here. If Serie A stops today with Juve being first, how would you rate Juve? Campioni d'Italia, I guess I would rate them. I mean, it's still a team that's growing, you know. And again, it's like, have we found our best 11 right now? Well, we might be on it because of this performance, but we need that consistency. So it's hard to really score them. Is that just me, or how do you think?
Well,
Like,
I would say it'd be good, not great. It'd probably I don't want to say it's very good because you won the Scudetto again, which is an achievement in itself. But if it ends today, I mean, I see a little bit of improvement. I think the big thing is what happens in the summer because last summer, you had your big money splashing, and then the rest of the summer was kind of a dud.
but scoring them just on this season. If it ends right now, like they say, that's it.
I would give him a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I'd probably go a 7.5 out of 10 because I mean, it's still fantastic. Like we're in first place.
Lazio have lost one game all year. Like it's just like if you win a title where the other team loses one game all year, like you did something right.
Yeah, like it's just Again, I just think.
Yeah.
I think the only reason they're getting docked is because we see matches like this today, and we know we're capable of that. We just have that inconsistency. We are our own worst enemy. We always are. We know what we're capable of. We just got to get it a little more consistently. So, 7.5, maybe an 8, like in that range, I think. Adiath at Turin Tactician. I think Bentancur sent Pjanic to somewhere else. He was awesome, and the Dybala touch and finish was magnificent. I hope the momentum continues. Absolutely. I said on a tweet after, I think we found Pjanic's best position. Left, right, out. Okay? Left, right, out.
Yeah.
Best position. Frank DeFranco here. Frank DeFranco. I like
That's
it.
an amazing name.
Every time Bentancur gets the start over Pjanic, you become more right. Not a question. I just wanted to tell you. LOL. I said thanks, but it's never about being right or wrong. It's literally just believing what you see. And for me, it seemed crazy for us to deny Bentancur that opportunity in that spot from what we've seen. So it's never about being right or wrong. And then. What else we got here? Juventus armchair supporters. My boy Farouk there. Would you rather have Douglas Costa have a blinder and get injured, or a stinker and stay healthy? Oh my god! I mean,
I think I'd rather take him the blinder and get injured. To be honest.
Well, I mean, yeah, because then like, especially if it's like. If the opponent's Merda, like, it's like, I want to win. I don't care how or whatnot. Have a blinder and then get hurt. Like, I mean, we're used to you playing once every 2 months anyways.
He's going to make me mad because he's going to get hurt. Like, if he is a stinker and he's healthy another game, he'll probably get hurt that next game. So, like...
Yeah, so we might as well have the blinder. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Super Juve. We all know this is what Juve is always capable of, if not more. Today's game was a glimpse of what we saw early this season. Yeah, question. We have always been our biggest enemy. Will we actually continue to improve, or it'll be the same old Juve again? 1 step forward, 3 steps back. This is actually a really good question when you start to think about it and break it down, because I personally I don't think we're going to be taking 3 steps back if Sarri is finally now seeing that Pjanic out and what his capabilities are with the guys. Ramsey seems to have locked down Mitsala. Sarri's finding his rhythm of finding combinations with the forwards.
Yeah.
I hope we can continue this going forward, but I think we're on to it.
It feels like he has. It feels like we have an idea of what the best 12 to 15 is, right? So it's like we know what the best 11 is, and we know at least who the sub should be, and we know we can put like one or two guys in there. Like it'd be okay. Like you could change the forward line. You could like maybe put Danilo at right back occasionally.
Man, see, like Danilo kills me because he does so many good things, like fundamentally, like the basically he does so many good things that the other guys don't do, but then like he just has these brain farts.
He's an average player. Like that's just the best way of putting it. He's just like he's good. He's good for a game against Brescia, but like you don't trust him at Lyon. Like
it's the execution that all is like it's just like. But he does so much good, and you could tell what he's trying to do is always the right thing. But it's just, God, you gotta be able to execute. It's tough, but oh man. So getting on to the fullback train here, DECJ writes in, we need fullbacks ASAP. Well, we can't do anything about it ASAP, unfortunately. Yeah. DeScilio does not cut it anymore. Did DeScilio ever really cut it, though?
DeScilio's there because we don't have any other fullbacks. It's like he can play on the left and the right, and they're like, no, that's useful.
DeScilio's had, like, some great games. He has. Yeah. But it's way too sporadic, and oh my God, man. Like, it's just, like, again, when he's good, he's good. He's had a couple great matches, but when he's good, he's good. But when he's bad, it's, like, terrible. Like, shocking. So, yeah, I believe that one elite midfielder can take this Juve to new levels. Finally, we need a new forward that does a Benzema/Higuain role. Help construct the attack and support the midfield. Love Higuain, but he is old. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, when I look at this club, we need some, like, an injection of, like, youth and pace up front. We don't really have anybody that, like, attacks the space and is, like, when there's a 50-50 ball in there, like, he's gonna just, like, he's gonna get there, he's gonna drive there, and we can play those through balls. Like, we have way too many possession style players. Yeah. In my opinion.
You only have one. The reason I think we see the 4-3-3 so late is because the only player that can beat someone one-on-one on the wing is Costa. I mean, Dybala can, but like he wasn't really a winger at the beginning of the season. He's become more of a winger.
Yeah.
But like he's really comfortable in the middle and like 1-2 touches and stuff.
Yeah.
When that's your problem, like Douglas Costa's the only person who can take someone one-on-one. Like it hurts. The attack.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's.
But I would like to see a young striker.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a Timo Werner or Gabriel Jesus. Like,
oh man, we're gonna get to. Okay, you know what? Let's just get to it now. Okay, we got our possible. There's rumors being thrown out. Gabriel Jesus there, Timo Werner, obviously Icardi still being linked with Juve. And I put out the question. I would love Gabriel Jesus to join Juve. Like,
that's great player.
I think he'd be unreal. Like he's exactly like he's got that pace. He can play the possession style. He could play that possession style. Yeah. And he can still like beat guys 1v1 and he'll score goals. Like he would be great. Werner or Icardi, I asked this question and I put it out on a post. Werner won. And I think the percentages were around 58% for Timo. And there was some defending Icardi saying that he's one of a kind and he knows Serie A and stuff like that. But for me, it just doesn't cut it. And, we need to get away from that in-box striker, type player. We need a guy with pace. Like Timo Werner's got pace. We talked about Jesus. They got pace. Like, we need an injection of pace into this team. We need a different element of attack. If we just have guys that are good in and around the box, what happens in these matches when we can't even get there?
Yeah. Also, the big thing, too, Higuain, Werner, Gabriel Jesus is like this. They're very good. Like, they can play good ball into the box. And, like, when you have a player like Cristiano Ronaldo who likes to run to the left and run right into the number 9 spot, you have to be able to move. That's not Mauro Icardi's game. Mauro Icardi likes to run right through the middle. It's just like he's your classic number 9. Also, I just dislike him so much as a person. Just like really not like him to be a Juventus player.
I know. The only bright side, if he joins, would be watching him score against Merda, and then
Oh, it would be incredible.
so that actually would be enjoyable.
Yeah.
I would take pleasure in that. Heath, this pretty much wraps it up. Dybala is our key player. He must start every game. Bentancur and Ramsey are definitely our best midfielders. Rodrigo's, what an underrated young man. Higuain was invisible, he says. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that in this match. De Chilio was terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well.
De Ligt and Bonucci were solid. Yep. Quadrado and Matuidi played well. What a great game. Yeah, I think I agree. I agree with all points. I wouldn't say Higuain was invisible. He was very selfless today, which he's actually been at his best this season when he's played in that manner. So I can't really say that I agree with just that point. Everything else I agree with absolutely. But yeah, it's a good victory. We brought up the talking points. You know, everybody now talking about who do we use as a sub when I think you're fine rotating those three, and really all of them should be more than capable of taking advantage of some tired legs. But yeah, let's get to Dybala now, because prior to the match against Lyon, or maybe shortly after, it's been so long now. Like I said, for God's sakes, I'm writing songs. But there was discussion about them talking about the contract extension, and apparently Juve went in and lowballed Dybala, and this to me is just mind-blowing. You know, especially the fact of what we've seen from him throughout this season so far. Get it done. You know?
Yeah. Just get it done.
Yeah, don't nickel and dime this guy. Okay, you've put him through enough bullshit last summer. He's been on a revenge tour this year. He's done incredibly well. He's been
the man actually likes him, like
just get it done. He deserves it. Okay, and just stop giving him reasons to say goodbye. You know, like just
he is he has 2 years left, and I just wish they just would have been like, hey, if we're not gonna get done this year, we're gonna wait till next year when we can pay you. But you know what I think they're trying to do? This is whoever is orchestrating that re-signing. They're thinking, okay, well, if his agent was in Manchester United, he was in Woodward's office, and Dybala's like, I'm not leaving, so like get out, like, you know, like he probably thinks, well, he'll sign for anything, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to see if he'll sign with anything, which is just shitty. Like,
it's just brutal. It just goes to like the treatment of guys that you need to have around. Like, for God's sakes, man, this goal today when he scored, like, first of all, it's just an incredible goal, great goal, and then just the passion, man, just like, you know, tugging on the shirt, jumping over the barrier, running to the squad, like, this kid is Juve.
Yeah, after in the Brescia game when he hit the free kick and he turned to the fans and told them to stop jeering, you know.
Yeah,
like him. He just like he is so much with he's my favorite player, active player, which might be a little sacrilegious, but like he represents so much of what Juventus was. And for a newer player, like it's just like it has always really impressed me. Like he reminds me of that older guard, you know. It's just like
he is literally like he's our future Bandiera of the club, man. Like he's the one. Him and Chiellini are my two favorites current, you know. But yeah. This brings me to something that happened right around the loss to Lyon, and it was an ex-player who I actually enjoyed when he played for us, Tacchinardi.
Yeah.
And he said, to make the team play more beautifully, Juventus's historical identity has been lost. And I thought about that statement, and I don't agree with it. I think our identity has been fading away gradually.
Yeah, well,
This is not something that's happened due to us trying to change philosophies now, you know, from switching from Allegri to Sarri. Like, that's not what made our identity go. I mean, the list goes on from treatment of legends. We're now living through it with current players, Dybala, like
Mandzukic.
yeah, and just like losing that pride in having that connection with the Azzurri as well, and like now all of a sudden we become like, I used to laugh at Merda and despise them. They had all foreigners. Like they had like at one point, I think it was 2 Italians on the club. That was back from the World Cup winning season. I think they had only 2 Italians. And then you would look at Juve and it was like pretty much the squad other than the guys from Roma. And, we used to pride ourselves on that connection. And, that's something that's faded as well. And obviously then you get into the business side of it, which seems to just give off that vibe that is the highest priority, and I think it's been a gradual thing, and I don't think it's this playing beautifully. And I can't help but stress this idea of playing beautiful football. It doesn't mean 7-1 games, like 8-1, like, hey, I'll take it. And yeah, I'd consider it beautiful, but that's not beautiful. Beautiful football can be defense first.
Was today. Today was beautiful football.
Yeah. It was 2-0, it was 10, but that's like beautiful. That was beautiful football.
Well, what I would say today was like it was like a classic Juventus kind of performance in the sense where it's like we were solid at the back, we broke a lot on the counter.
Yeah,
broke on the counter that started our build up, and it was like we got the job done. We didn't take our foot off the gas, but we also weren't going so far forward crazy we were going to concede immediately afterwards.
Yeah. Louis, what's your thoughts on Tacchinardi's words there?
Well, so I really hate the people on Twitter. They're like, we need beautiful football. It's like, because, there's people on Twitter, they're like, we should play like Man City. And in a way, I feel like our directors want us to be Man City. Like, they do the stupid European Super League, which I know we could get into. But, like... We'll talk
about that, yeah.
Sometimes I look at their transfer decisions, and I was thinking to myself, I love De Ligt. He's been great for us. Hindsight's 2020 because like Chiellini got hurt and he was huge. But when you're in a summer where you need the midfielder, you desperately need like one world-class midfielder, why go spend $80 million on a center back after you sign 2 young center backs and then, half-ass the rest of the market? And hindsight 2020, it works out. De Ligt's going to be a really good player. He seems to like Juventus. Hopefully he's a really good player for a long time,
Yeah.
But like I just wonder, is this going to be a situation where it's like all of a sudden someone goes, hey, we got, Kylian Mbappe, throw $100 million on, or Paul Pogba. People are always like, Paul Pogba. I love Paul Pogba, but I'm not paying over $100 million for Paul Pogba. Like, there's other things Juventus have to address at the same time. 60, 70 million, 80 million, fine. But like 100, like, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Here's how I look at this too. Like, Man U's going to get caught. Like, they have to move him, and I don't think they're going to be getting the money that they want or expect. Yeah. There's no way it's going to be that high.
I believe that Pjanic and Rabiot and some of those players that just exist on our team could be very good in a swap for Paul Pogba.
So, yeah, like, for sure. Pjanic has to go, and, there's the talk of it could be anywhere from 60 to 80 million, okay, with him gone. I think it's time to part ways with Sandro. There's another 60. But then you start looking at these guys like Tonali. Tonali coming in. You've already got a big chunk of that money from Sandro's sale. You got Luca Pellegrini coming back. A player like Alex Telles is available for roughly around 20 to 30 mil.
Steal.
Got to jump on that.
Yeah.
And then you get, there's all sorts of possibilities. Do we spend less? Like, Tonali needs to be a priority, I think, because of his age and just the kid's got it. Like, he's got it, and I think he would do wonders at a big club as far as growth goes. Do we need that elite level midfielder still between Savic or Pogba? I mean, honestly, that could set us apart. It may not. I mean, it's there's a little bit of risk there, right? Would you rather put, less money into more guys, like, say, Zaniolo's out there too. Obviously, he's got the injury he'll be recovering from. There's Lorenzo Pellegrini for cheap. Like, there's other options available. Do we get a base of solid guys, or do we get one elite guy and maybe another? Like, say,
I think I'm a more of a less is more kind of guy, because the best team I think in the world up until this recent run was Liverpool, right? Liverpool play outstanding football. I mean, you watch them play, they blow teams away. I watched Liverpool play a game against Tottenham, and Tottenham wasn't very good. They sat back, kind of like we did a little bit at the start of the game today. We sat off a little bit, broke on the counter, and they put them away in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Their midfield is Milner, Henderson, and Fabinho.
I know.
So it's like part of me wants to be like, okay, like having Paul Pogba would be great because we have a for sure, major talent in the midfield. But it's also if we get something today where it's like, what if Bentancur, Ramsey, in let's say another signing do all the things that we need them to do, and they're supported by very good outside backs or good wingers, like we could be okay. You know, and that's like I look at a Liverpool and say, Juventus could be that team better because fuck Liverpool, but like Juventus could be that team and could be better. It comes down to tactics in personnel.
Well, and that's just it. And I've argued that point quite a bit, and usually what comes back is, well, it's taken Klopp, how many years to get to that point, but that's still missing the mark. The fact is, he's got a no flash midfield that gets the job done, and they get the job done because they have a set system. Everybody knows their role, and they perform their job fantastically. Today, we had a no flash midfield. Everybody did their job. Everybody seemed to have an understanding of what we were trying to accomplish, and it worked well. So that's why I say, like, if we start moving the guys we need to move, spend less money, but get, a few more players that are good, solid players, that could possibly turn into these elites with us. I kind of like that route, and then we may get into a spot because, I hate to be that guy, but we have some injury history. So if we get into some injury trouble, say January, we got to make a move. It'd be nice to not be strapped for cash, or be able to make a move, make some acquisitions, or just do something like that. I just think like putting all our, throwing all our eggs in one basket, and then it doesn't work out. And then it's like we miss out on some good young talent, you could look at it both ways. You could argue that, hey, everybody might be feeling this pressure of this Ronaldo window, and it's like Pogba's going to be that guy. There's no guarantees with Pogba. And then
Pogba's played like 10 games this year.
Well, that's the thing. There's no guarantees in anything. So it really comes down to your preference, what you want to see. Like, this is where I start to feel like people get into this FIFA mode where it's just like, boom, I'm going to sign this guy and I'm going to sign this guy. And it's just like, boom, you've got like this incredible squad, and it's just like, it's not realistic, right? And we got to think about another thing that's going to be interesting is going to be the revenue lost because of the matches now with a closed door. It's said to be that, in 3 matches of behind closed doors, and that's the 3 that would be played until the dates where they expect it to be open again, which doesn't seem like that's accurate at all either. But 3 matches, 12 million euro, Juve loses. But how if they haven't even refunded? So it's just like, are they factoring like shirt sales, concessions, like everything that, like just taking an average?
Yeah, maybe.
They must be taking an average of influx through matches, right? Like store revenue on match days or something like that, right? Because they haven't refunded to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they haven't yet. I heard they're supposed to partially refund. So I heard like some people are getting them back and some people might.
That's crazy to me, but
it's
we're at like an hour and 9 minutes right now. I can't even get into that and how that But the nice thing was on the game that was postponed, at least they donated the food from the concessions, to the shelters, and that was great. That actually made me proud of them.
So I like nice that. To see something good about Juventus management this year.
Yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice to see that. We're gonna wrap up talking about Agnelli's words that were so taken out of context, like to the extreme, in regards to him talking about the Super League and in particular Atalanta. And the headline just read, Agnelli saying, without historical ties, why should Atalanta be rewarded Champions League football for one good season? And he just got blasted and ripped for it. I was pissed when I saw that header too. I was like, how could you say that? But then I read it.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest thing is, before, you know, anybody tweets or anything, like, read the article. I read the article. It was grossly taken out of context. But he's still, you know, he's just trying to push at this Super League, which I get it. I get why he wants to. I'm personally against it. I think what we have is fine. Obviously, he's looking for bigger revenue more consistently. Why wouldn't you, if you were Agnelli?
I think the Super League is anti-football. I just think, like, you know, like, if there's a Super League, what's the point in playing? Like, if you're Atalanta, the best you can do is probably top four. Like, like Lazio, like, is like, I don't want to say it's a one-off because it might not be. They have a good squad. But it could very well be a one-off. Like, they could get to second and then just – that's it. So the reward is that they don't get to go to Europe for getting second place. Like, they may never finish top four for the next 15 years. But, like, it's like –
I understand why he's trying to do it. I don't like it. I mean, a Super League, like – no, I think everything's fine. I think you need to put your efforts into our current club and the spendings and the dead weight and stuff, and keep that straight. And let's take that Champions League before we start thinking about Super Leagues. Okay, like, let's win that damn thing. is how I feel. Like, holy Christ.
I mean, like, as a fan, I don't want to be stuck in the league with City, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. The Spanish teams kick the crap out of us anyway in finals. Like, why don't we be in another league with them? Like, you know, like.
Oh man. Yeah. No.
I don't want that to myself. But yeah, I think that one of the bigger factors, I think, is before this year, like, he has publicly come out and been like, AC Milan, like, they need to get their crap together. You know, like, these other clubs that should be pulling the league up aren't, because like you know, AC Milan has a new owner and a new coach every year.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I think part of the logic with the Super League is too, well, now we'll have 4 historic Serie A teams there. It's good branding for the league, which I don't think is wrong to want to, you know, be like, hey, this is Serie A, like, it's on ESPN, you know, like, we have Ronaldo, we should be getting players like Ronaldo. You know, but
until people start paying to go watch Super League and see AC Milan and, like, their star player's 38 years old, and it's like, really?
Yeah, no, it's flawed logic. It's very anti-football. So his comments were taken out of context, but he also should check himself and be like, look, we got the most finals losses in the history of the Champions League or something. We're out there at least, you know, like.
And again, I get it. You know, but just the financials just driving this guy. But, like, I can't get behind that.
Who's a Napoli fan told me, he goes, I think that Agnelli's mad about getting knocked out by Ajax's and Atlantas of the world in the Champions League. And that's I was like, you bastard.
Yeah. That's a dick move right there.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I think that we've kind of touched on everything, Lou. I'm just gonna leave it, put the ball in your court right now to see if you've got any last things you want to touch on that maybe we didn't in this pod.
Yeah, I just want to say, I was glad today we got the win. It really reminded me, and I think a lot of people, like, why we love Juventus, like the spirit, the hunger, the desire. And, like, as painful as a long season is, like, a day like today is, like, one of those days where you're like, I'm going to remember this in a couple years. Like,
yeah.
That's
awesome, man. It's a great point to touch on, too, because, like, I mean, you know, we all know how Twitter can get when we don't share opinions, you know, and see things differently, and especially when we all want the best for Juve, and when we were on kind of a poor run of form, it's fantastic to get a match like this against a bitter rival. It's always nice to beat them, but it's fantastic for that when you do it in that fashion, and we can all share and rejoice together. And like I say, posting the Dybala goal, watching it, 50 times, everybody retweeting, everybody just loving it. And it's just like, it's days like this, it's matches like this that reinstill that passion. They just, it was a good kickstart, to the heart for the rest of the season. That's gonna, I guess it's up in the air. We'll find out more later this week, but this was a match I think we all needed as Juventini to just kind of, just check ourselves and bring it back, and then get the team playing well and see that, it's there's still a lot to be played. It's not over. We can turn this thing around against Lyon. It's one goal, for Christ's sake. They're coming into our house now, our fortress. And whether it's 40,000 of us fans,
do it,
or if it's Gigi Buffon in the damn stands screaming his face off, we can do it. It's one goal. We'll do it. I have faith we'll do it. And that, let's finish on that. Does Juve progress?
I think it's going to be a lot like last year when we were trying Atletico. I think it's going to be we're going to stomp them in the second leg. I give it like maybe 2-0, 3-0, something like that. I think it's going to be comfortable.
Home, we smash them, bro.
Yeah.
Home, we smash them, bro. I like that from Ronaldo. Home, we smash them.
Yeah.
I like it. We're going to go through. Louis, again, much appreciated for joining me on such short notice. An absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you.
Thank you.
To my guest who was supposed to join me, there are things more important than football, and that's family. He is looking at welcoming in new life, another Juventino or Juventina into the world with his wife. So to them, if you've had the child by now, congratulations.
Congrats.
Hope all is well there. And if you have had it and haven't kept me posted like I asked, I'm going to be pissed. So, and I'm just going to finish off reminding everybody, Striped Hearts has been launched. Follow it on Twitter at @striped_hearts. Check out the gear and DM me instantly to put some stuff aside for you because it's limited quantities. As always, until our next match, which is going to be played Friday against Bologna, and I'll be coming to you with another podcast after that. As always, Forza Juve, Fino alla Fina, we're back to the top, baby. Ciao.